Hi guys, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak finally sat down and did a long-form interview, but unfortunately it was in an environment that was a tad too friendly. Conservative home. Anyway, the Prime Minister was pushed on a number of issues, including migration. Rishi responded with Brexit has the answer, and now his government is taking back control. When asked if migration was necessary for growth, he responded with comments about people on benefits. This was pretty embarrassing. Have a listen.
Net migration to 245,000, which is apparently the highest level ever in its forecast. Is this what taking back control of immigration looks like?
Well, I think, if you remember, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think that's lower than actually numbers that we've had in the past, but it does represent a reduction. But I think your point there, though, is the right one. But the most important thing, and as I speak as someone who proudly supported Brexit, is for us to have control, right? It needs to be us. It needs to be the government that is in charge of saying who can come here and on what basis.
I think Rishi Sunak has lost everyone on this particular topic. This idea we're going to stop the boats. How is he going to stop the boats? He's not going to succeed in doing that. But people on the left are upset about this policy of punishing asylum seekers. And people on the right are complaining about hotels filling up. They're complaining about barges. They're not going to be sufficient. So I don't know why he's pushing ahead with this policy, because it's deeply unpopular both on the left and on the right. It's not going to succeed. It's not even a policy that could get halfway there. It's a failure before it even begins.
I think that is the most important thing, and actually more broad, and we now have a system that allows us to do that. And that was one of the benefits of Brexit, is that we are now in control.
But look at the port. In control of what? You're not in control of people leaving the country. That's the French. And you're not in control of goods coming into the country because you're not actually carrying out any checks. Which means all sorts of stuff is coming in. How did you take back control?
And we're always looking at that to make sure that system is working as intended. But fundamentally, the decisions about who's coming here, what they're doing when they're here, are they contributing appropriately? Those are questions that we are now in control of, and we can just put the system in place that delivers on our objectives, which we are doing. The most important question, though, on migration, the thing that everyone talks to me about, is not that. What they talk to me about is the boats and what we're doing to stop the boats. And that is overwhelming.
So people don't care about the numbers, they care about boats, really. Okay.
Overwhelmingly, the migration topic that people talk to me about and that's raised with my colleagues in Parliament as well.
Obviously, everyone will want to have a look at the figures, but it is a fact, isn't it, that you're not going to be able to get the growth you want for the economy without, in your plan, quite substantial amounts of migration.
Very good question. You know, you're talking about growth, growing the economy. You can see it as number 2 on his list. But in order to grow the economy, you need to attract investment. In order to attract investment, you need to create an environment where businesses can prosper. How can they prosper if they can't get access to the workers they need? They can't generally get the workers they need in the local area. They look further afield. But you've created barriers to that. Like, we can park for a moment the idea that you want to actually export anything. But if you want to get access to skilled workers or any type of workers, well, it's more difficult now because of Brexit. So how are you going to grow the economy if you can't attract the investment you need?
No, I think if you look at one of the things in the Chancellor's budget recently was further reforms to the welfare system to make sure that we are supporting people to move off welfare and into work. I think one thing that's been highlighted is the increase in the number of inactive people who are not working and the number of people who have left the labour force. I think all of us would want to say, hang on, ideally we would support people into work where they can work, and we need to have a welfare and a benefit system that is supportive of that. Right, that is a very conservative approach. I believe work is a good thing. It is a good thing for people to be doing. It's something that we as Conservatives value. We want to support people into work. We want to reward hard work, and I'm sure we'll get on to talking about tax at some point as well in that vein. But the welfare system needs to play its part, and that's why the Chancellor's reforms, making sure that people who are on welfare are part of a regime which is looking at what they can do, making sure that they are doing the work that they are able to do, making their welfare conditional on them participating in that regime. I think that is an entirely reasonable and fair approach to this question, and as I said, we are supporting people to do that.
Okay, so one of the policies that they want to introduce is to get people to do 2 weeks training. Because as we know at the moment, many businesses can't get access to the workers they need because for example, the skills base is not available in the area. So the response from the Department of Work and Pensions is, well, we're actually going to give people about 2 weeks training. But that's not sufficient. This is once again a sticking plaster over a massive gaping wound. Businesses need workers. They need skilled workers, butchers, people to work in the care sector, the NHS. There are many different sectors need workers and skilled workers. Before they would apply, they would put out a request for workers. People would come from all over Europe and they would work in the British sectors. They can't do that now because of the ending of freedom of movement, and in many cases they need a visa, a very expensive visa, up to £3,000. So for many businesses, they can't afford to do that. So the response is, well, what we're going to do is we're going to force people off benefits and into these jobs. Okay, but are they skilled to do these jobs? No. Okay, what training are you going to provide? We might give some people 2 weeks training. That's the response. That's the solution. It's not going to work. They present these policies, grow the economy, stop the boats, have inflation. And honestly, I don't believe that anyone has actually thought more than 5 minutes about what these actually entail. It's just a slogan. It's just to get us over a bump. Oh, we're bad. We're down in the polls. We're having a bad period in respect to the Labour Party. Better come up with a slogan to distract. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.